On the news, 136 more Nigerians fleeing war-torn Sudan arrive Abuja on Wednesday. The Action People's Party APP applies to withdraw petition challenging the victory of President-elect Bola. And race for speakership seats heats up as more lawmakers declare intention to run. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Simisola Adigun. Another batch of Nigerians stranded in war-torn Sudan has arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. This is coming a few hours after 126 nationals that departed Port Sudan International Airport landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on Tuesday night via Tarko Air. The new batch of evacuees, 136 in number, arrived in a Tarko aviation aircraft via Port Sudan at 9:30 a.m. Speaking on the exercise, the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA says a total of 2,002 Nigerians comprising men, women, children and pregnant women have so far been evacuated since the war broke out in the North African country. On its part, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM says the federal government has made a total of 1,856 evacuees so far, with no lives lost. Meanwhile, the Registrar, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Ishaq Oloyede, has assured Nigerian students evacuated from Sudan that the board will provide necessary infrastructure for the completion of their education in Nigerian universities if they indicate interest. Oloyede gave the cheering news while receiving a delegation led by Abike Dabiri Arawa, the chairman CEO Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM, with discussions on how the student returnees who wish to complete their respective studies in Nigeria could do so. The JAMB registrar expressed his readiness to work with the university's regulator, the National Universities Commission, to ensure a seamless transition for the completion of the affected students.
So we, the parents, are here to lead with the JAMB and NIDCOM, which they are very cooperative with us, and thank you very much, madam, for inviting us, the parents. Please, we want to know what the fate of our children after they return, because they are all ready to go back to school. They don't want to be idle.
On arrival, they only had one thing on their minds. One is, thank God we're home. Secondly is, what about our education? And we know that we had worked with you during the last crisis of Ukraine. So we thought we should come to you so that you can guide on the processes for those that might want to continue their education. Is there going to be a stopgap? Now, a lot of them said to me, we want the war to be over so that we go back. Some have just one semester to go. Some are in other years, but we want you to guide them and us all on the processes for those who want to continue their education here. Some said some of the universities have online courses. So if you have universities here that can partner with them and continue their online courses, some don't have whatsoever. But we believe that JAMB is the appropriate authority to come to so that they are properly guided on the next steps to take.
I can say that the Nigerian Universities Commission will be ready to partner with you and with us to ensure smooth transition of the returnees. What's it? University admission is personal, is individual. Each institution, each individual will determine which university to go. And universities have a standard rule all over the world. When you want, we have what we call inter-university transfer. Inter-university transfer can be voluntary, it can be mandatory as you have it now, which is not voluntary. When you have inter-university transfer, the request is for transcript.
The Action People's Party APP has applied to withdraw its petition challenging the victory of President-elect Bola at the February 25 presidential elections. At the resumed pre-hearing session on Monday, counsel to the APP, Obed Agu, also asked the court to strike out and dismiss the suit, saying he was working on the instructions of his client to settle disputes amicably. Chairman of the panel, Justice Haruna Samani, subsequently dismissed the suit with no cost attached. The APP is the latest to withdraw its petition against Tinubu after the Action Alliance withdrew its petition on Monday. A member of the House of Representatives and chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, Aliyu Betara, has also joined the race for the speakership of the 10th House of Representatives. This is coming as the ruling All Progressives Congress APC with majority seats had zoned the position to the northwestern region. The federal lawmaker from the northeastern region of Nigeria says he has the experience to take the lead in the parliament to meet the yearnings of citizens. Other aspirants, Majority Leader Al-Hassan Ado Dogowa, Chairman House Committee on Navy Yusuf Gagdi, Sada Soli and Mariam Onwaha were present to show solidarity with Betara.
Whoever becomes the speaker must need Betara around to really hold it tight. And it is in the light of that unity and understanding, like my colleagues have rightly said, that I feel I should join this occasion to fraternize with him, to wish all of us well, and to let the Lord know that my contest is not about do or die affair.
All has been said about me. The most important thing today is for me to declare that I'm contesting. Today is our day for members-elect in the 10th Assembly and for our former members of the Parliament.
The need for inclusivity and diversity. I have proven that I'm a woman who comes with the right experience for this process and was the first to initiate this, visiting a co-aspirant at his declaration. We have all shown that united we stand and divided we fall.
We are here for the respect of the sanctity of the independence of the Parliament. Why are we here? Because we would want to demonstrate the inclusivity of parliamentarians. Once a parliament is not inclusive, the country will cry, the public will castigate the parliament because some people are isolated.
Still on the leadership tussle in the 10th National Assembly, the Arawa Youth Forum has kicked against the zoning arrangement of the leadership by the All Progressives Congress, APC, which announced Tajuddin Abbas from the Northwest Zone as the party's preferred candidate for the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The APC had on Monday officially announced the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Godswill Akpabio, from South-South as the Senate President. However, addressing a press conference in Kaduna, President of the Forum, Ahmed Zagi, who addressed journalists, said Betara is the best person to head the 10th House of Representatives. He added that the lawmaker had exceeded the electorate's expectations by providing dividends of democracy through infrastructural development, empowerment, making him the best person to lead the 10th House of Representatives. Now, to weigh in on the ongoing tussle for the speakership seat in the 10th Assembly, political affairs analyst Jide Ojo joins me. Now, the office of Senate President, Deputy and Speaker is usually through zoning. Do you expect that the 10th Assembly will toe the same path?
Well, it's not whether I expect it. The point is that you just read in the news that the All Progressive Congress have on Monday announced the outcome of their consultation to have the different 4 positions zoned. But I think what happened on Monday wasn't zoning, it was unpicking of different individuals to lead the National Assembly. And that's dangerous. You have the president of the Senate position allegedly zoned to South-South, and then you already have somebody in the South-South, which is micro-zone 2, which is the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio. Then you have somebody from the Kano, Northwest, being the president, deputy president of the Senate. And then you went to Kaduna from Kano and you chose a speaker. I mean, is it only Northwest that make up Nigeria? Why will Northwest have the position of Deputy President of the Senate, as well as the Speaker of House of Reps. And then you went to Abia to pick Benjamin Kanu as the Deputy Speaker. I think the opinion, particularly for the speakership position, is that North Central should have been considered for that slot, given the fact that when you look at the outcome of the election, if it's on the basis of contributions in terms of the number of votes that each of the zones gave to the party, my calculations would be that the North Central, in which the APC won outrightly 4 out of 6 states and did very well in the 2 other states, with the exception of FCT, where they couldn't muster up to 25%, should have been considered for the position of the Speaker House of Reps. I also am of the considered view that the position of the President of the Senate should have been zoned to the Southeast, and that is personal to me.
Now, how feasible do you think this zoning method will be? That is, if that method is chosen, you know, considering the level of competitiveness we have at this point in time?
You already have disagreements even after the zoning, and that is why you have Aliyu Betara, incidentally from Northeast, disagreeing with the party position and mobilizing support among its members. And APC needs to be wary of what happened to it in 2015, when there were rebellion between the rebellion by Yakubu Dogara in the House of Reps, as well as Olubukola Saraki in the Senate. They need to be wary of that history, because history has a way of repeating itself.
All right, political affairs analyst Jide Ojo, thank you very much for lending your thoughts, as always. Moving on, a federal high court in Abuja has given an order of perpetual injunction restraining the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) from imposing fines on broadcast stations in the country henceforth. Justice James Omotosho, in a judgment, also set aside the 500,000 naira fines imposed on each of the 45 broadcast stations on March the 1st, 2019. The presiding judge held that the NBC, not being a court of law, had no power to impose sanctions as punishment on broadcast stations. He further held that the NBC Code, which gives the Commission the power to impose sanctions, is in conflict with Section 6 of the Constitution, which vested judicial power in the court of law. President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a letter to the Senate seeking approval to take a loan to the tune of $800 million from the World Bank to cushion the effects of petrol subsidy removal. The president's request was contained in a letter read by Senate President Ahmad Lawan at the plenary session on Wednesday. In the letter sent to the Senate, the president said the $800 million loan facility is intended to be used to support poor Nigerians and will be disbursed to poor households across the country. He claimed that the facility is an extension of the unconditional cash transfer being implemented by the federal government. Fiscally challenged students have demanded social inclusion in education in Lagos, following the alleged segregation from participating in major political and societal affairs within the state. They made the demand at a one-day training session organized by the Journalists for Democratic Rights, JODA, in partnership with the Ford Foundation. The training tagged community support center and awareness creation for children with special needs. The advocacy group agreed that the media also plays a vital role in promoting inclusion for people living with disabilities in Lagos. Our correspondent, Tamilore Akinkolye, has more details in this report.
People living with disabilities are one of the most marginalized groups in Nigeria, like other parts of the world. Their plight is made worse due to the non-implementation of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act 2018, which was signed by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019. As a call to action, an advocacy group, the Journalists for Democratic Rights, in partnership with Ford Foundation, have urged media personnel to promote social inclusion in education for students and people living with disabilities across various communities in Lagos State. According to data update from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), during the 2023 general election, over 19 million PLWDs registered and participated in the electioneering process. However, organizers lamented the non-provision of safety measures by the federal government.
I think one of the strategic ways we can intervene is to have constructive engagement with the media industry, the print, the social media, the electronic media, so that we can work collectively to bring issue of disability into the front burner of national discourse. For instance, if you look at the last election, when you go to the polling units, preferences are not given to people that are physically challenged. Even when you are traveling from Lagos to Abuja in our airports, when they are asking people to come and board the plane, preferences are not given to people with disabilities. And we think this is not right. The state and local government budgets, nobody talks about people living with disabilities. So I think it is high time that we work together to ensure that the government also live up to its own responsibilities, and also meeting up with international conventions and several conventions, regional and international conventions that Nigerian government is committed to.
Students who participated in the training said it was necessary as most of the members of the PLWDs are marginalized due to their disabilities. Some of the students appealed to the government to provide more institutional materials and aids for them.
I feel now at least people are going to know that there's actually disability, there's actually ability and disability, and people will know more about visually impaired people, that they are nothing to be afraid of. Like most people intend to be get scared of us when they see us. So they'll have more idea about us after this program.
The organizers further urged the government to implement the People with Disabilities Prohibition Act at both the federal and state levels.
Lagos State government is doing its best to ensure that they promote disability law. But what we are seeing is charity-based approach in doing that. In doing it charity-based, it means that the states do it by reason of compassion, not by law. So we are asking that the state government should take appropriate measure to ensure the full implementation of Lagos State Fair Post law, to, in order for people with disability to benefit maximally. It's a state law.
According to the World Health Organization in 2018, about 29 million of the 195 million people who comprise Nigeria's national population were living with a disability. Stakeholders says there is an urgent need to improve the current socio-economic situation of persons with disability in Nigeria. Tamilore Akinkolie, TV 360, Nigeria.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, the United Kingdom Supreme Court rules in favor of Shell in the Nigerian oil spill case. Stay with us for details of the story and others after this break.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Corruption not in my country.
Yeah. Relax. That is my brother, and I want him out of this station now.
We are proceeding.
Okay. Can I just see the IPO of this case? IPO.
How are you?
You're welcome, sir.
That is my brother, and I want him out of this station now.
Do you know the offense he has committed, sir?
What do you guys want for your weekend? Okay, let me see your DPO.
This way, sir.
Oh, better. You don't know me here. That boy is my brother, and I want you to assist me to free him.
The man found with a gun, confessed to robbery.
Things like this happen. 200,000 naira for you.
Are you bribing me?
500,000 naira.
Robbery suspect?
1 million naira.
That is corruption. Not allowed in this division.
1 million.
Remember,
police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Now here's a recap of our top stories tonight. 136 more Nigerians from Sudan have arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on Wednesday. Speaking on the exercise, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says a total of 2,002 Nigerians have so far been evacuated since the war broke out in the North African country. On its part, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, says the federal government has made a total of 1,856 evacuations so far, with no lives lost. We also told you that the Action People's Party, APP, has applied to withdraw its petition challenging the victory of President-elect Tinubu at the February 25 presidential elections. At the resumed pre-hearing session on Monday, counsel to the APP, Obed Agu, also asked the court to strike out and dismiss the suit, saying he was working on the instructions of his client to settle disputes amicably. Chairman of the panel, Justice Haruna Samani, subsequently dismissed the suit with no cost attached. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins, for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Thousands of residents forced into a sudden COVID-19 lockdown in public housing towers in Australia, Melbourne, in 2020 are set to collectively reap $5 million in compensation. The Victorian government has settled a class action over measures intended to stop an outbreak of the virus in 9 towers at the height of the second wave. About 3,000 residents lived in the Flemington and North Melbourne towers at the time of the lockdown, which led to police surrounding buildings and temporary fences being set up. The plaintiffs claim people were wrongly detained for up to 14 days and threatened with physical harm if they tried to leave the towers, though the state of Victoria denied those claims. We'll take another break and return with the rest of the news. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Mary Kano is on standby now to take us through the world of business. Mary, over to you.
Thank you, Simsola. Welcome to Business News. To help ease clearing of imports for goods and services, the Nigeria Customs Service has called on manufacturers to be compliant with rules of origin while profiling. The NCS made the call at the 12th edition of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Apapa branch business luncheon in Lagos. Customs Area Controller Apapa Command Awal Mohammed said although the Nigeria Customs Service had put strategies in place to ease Nigeria's participation in AFCFTA, lack of proper documentation and skilled personnel remained major challenges for importers and their agents.
The issue of African Continental Free Trade Area is here with us and it has come to stay. So the Nigerian manufacturers must be competitive in order to be able to survive. all the borders are going to be thrown open. There won't be any barriers any longer. And somebody from Egypt can bring his goods here in Nigeria and sell, as long as the goods are actually certified to have been produced in Egypt. The same thing with somebody from South Africa. And if we are unable to compete, then all the factories here in Nigeria will just we run aground, because we cannot sell our goods. If somebody can produce and bring it from South Africa or from Egypt or from Togo or from Uganda or from anywhere, and his products are cheaper and has the same kind of quality or even better quality than our own, certainly our people will go for it.
Now the Nigerian Customs Service is talking about e-customs. E-customs is the new model that actually will take all of us to the next level. And it is timely because we are coming into AFTA. And AFTA requires the expedited clearance of goods from our ports. It requires the smooth integration of all levels of either government agencies, stakeholders, customs, port operators, shipping companies, customs agents, and so on and so forth. So the matrix is actually a lot bigger now than what we used to have, because we are not just talking about trade interactions within the country, we're talking about interactions within the continent.
We'll take a break and be back with stock market reports, to stay with us. After a two-day rally, Nigeria's equities market recorded its first decline on Wednesday by a remarkable margin of 0.75%. 215 billion naira was shed off the market, and this dip comes as more investors sold shares of Caverton and Suni Assurance Nigeria PLC. The market's record negative close has erased this week's earlier gains as the all-share index and its equities market capitalization decreased to 52,209 basis points and 28.4 trillion naira. Now, despite the poor performance, market breadth closed positive, ending with 32 gainers and 22 losers. Now, in 5,168 deals, investors exchanged 554 million volumes of shares. Over now to the global scene, it's all bearish trading as we see the FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei trading down. A strength in sterling weighed on dollar earners ahead of the Bank of England's policy decision on Thursday. Well, that's the stock market report. Simisola, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mary, for that update. And in sports, Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea has agreed terms on a new contract with the club and is expected to sign soon. The 32-year-old's current deal expires this summer, although United have the option to extend it for another 12 months. De Gea has taken a significant wage cut in exchange for a longer deal with incentives for matches played. That's our bulletin this evening. Many thanks for watching. I am Simisola Adigun. Bye for now.